People got their phones up, taking pictures, taking video, just trying to capture this moment that, of course, so many people are calling history. Just in about the last half hour, we got that update we were hoping we wouldn't get from Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor. He said it's a sad day for the Harford County Sheriff's Office and the entire Harford County community. People watching out here, just hearing the news that it's a 3-year-old. That's what we know right now, is that a 21-year-old woman and a 3-year-old little girl were shot by stray bullets. Do you think new words are awesome sauce? Oxford Dictionary does. Today, its online version added a few dozen words and phrases. People have been checking on their supply on their Facebook page. They've been calling into the store. Some people were just driving by when they saw this sign outside and they stopped. An afternoon fire in East Baltimore leaves one person dead and police searching for a suspect. They're not wasting any time and have labeled the man they say is responsible public enemy #1. I'm taking the heat at whatever level it comes after the winter that we saw with the cold temperatures and the snow.
And it's right around the corner again.
Oh my gosh, don't say that.
Everything's right around the corner.
The buses kept coming throughout the morning, but just feet away from where people were standing and waiting, broken glass and a lot of blood. So the focus on snow removal, and when we talk about snow removal, I mean, take a look at what I'm surrounded by. We're on this massive pile of snow. This is in the festival at Bel Air. It was just really tough hearing from Sheriff Gaylor just a few minutes ago. First thing he said was it's a sad day for the Harford County Sheriff's Office and law enforcement. He talked about the outpouring from law enforcement and from the community. Now, once again, the reason we're not hearing too many more details about those longtime veterans of the sheriff's office is because the sheriff said he doesn't want any family members to hear this from anyone but them. You know, they have made initial notifications to immediate family members, but they are still, looking to talk to extended family members and make sure they kind of do the notifications the right way. But as we got the information shortly after this happened, that this suspect was inside the Panera, and it was shortly before noon we learned that he fired that first shot. The crime tape surrounds businesses and cars. People out to grab a bite to eat turned into witnesses. A late breakfast for Sophia Faulkner and her mother, Lynn, turned into something they could have never imagined.
We were just sitting there, and all of a sudden I heard this loud, popping noise, almost at first I thought it was a glass breaking, but a glass breaking does not sound like that.
What she heard was a gunshot. It was a Harford County Sheriff's deputy who she saw fall to the floor right after. 15-year-old Sophia says a man inside the Panera gave her and her mother a strange feeling, so they sat somewhere else.
The police officer that was sitting near him said, how was your day? And then immediately, according to one of the ladies, an officer that was in there, apparently right after that, he just took out his gun and shot him in the head. Right after the officer just asked him, how's your day?
Police say this man was the reason deputies were called to the Abingdon Panera. Sheriff Gaylor says after the deputy was shot inside the restaurant, the shooter took off.
The responding deputy was the first to locate the subject, and again, shots were fired. The second deputy was hit by gunfire. The suspect in the investigation was shot by Harford County Sheriff's Office deputies and is deceased.
The sheriff says no one else at either scene was injured. Investigators kept witnesses here as they begin to piece together what led up to the shooting. Lynn Faulkner says she's seen this suspect many times before.
The man was homeless. Apparently, Panera's had tried multiple times to offer him assistance in housing and homeless shelter, offering him a ride, and he's constantly refused.
And the scene extended well beyond Panera and its parking lot. Bethany Pace was on lockdown at Old Navy with employees and another customer.
We all see these things unfold in national news, international news, and don't really realize how much it could happen very close to you. And so that's disturbing. They're probably going to take a little bit of time to sink in, to be honest. It still feels very surreal, even seeing the tape and the priest and all the things that are here.
You see this stuff in movies and online and everything, and on TV when it actually happens, but you never think you're going to go out to lunch one day with your mom and then it's just going to happen.
Well, a very active scene out here right now as deputies continue their investigation into exactly what happened here. We're told there will be another briefing, but that'll happen tomorrow. We'll continue to bring you updates and keep you updated as this story continues to develop. For now, reporting live in Abingdon, Katrina Bush, ABC 2 News. Councilman Welsh will present his idea for a dirt bike park in Baltimore at tonight's city council meeting. We spoke with him and also with a mother who says if there was a park like that in the city, her son might still be alive today.
We ride to fly, to feel, to touch, to breathe, to laugh.
Kimberly Rouse Smith says the author is unknown, but to her, the poem We Ride perfectly puts into words how dirt bike riders in Baltimore feel.
To feel love, to communicate without words, we ride to live.
She says it's how her son felt about it. Kimberly says 21-year-old Karee was riding one night on his dirt bike when he was in a crash at Smallwood and North.
I know his head hit the wall because, as I told you, I went up there and I cleaned that space and I removed my child's hair from off the wall, okay? And I carry it with me.
She says even before the crash, she was scared every time he would get on his dirt bike, not only because riding them in the city is illegal, but also because of how dangerous it can be. Still, she respects it.
It's a passion. I mean, illegal, but it's still a passion. I mean, there are a lot of things, you know, that started out illegal at one time, and then the right people got behind it.
Kimberly is hoping that right person is Councilman Pete Welsh. She'll be with him when he introduces a resolution at Monday night's council meeting asking the city to look at building a world-class dirt bike park.
To keep the dirt bike riders safe, off the streets, and utilize our resources for something other than regulating dirt bike riders on a Sunday.
Kimberly says the move could save lives. She agrees with Welsh that it could eventually turn into a legitimate sport with competitions, but says ultimately it goes far beyond that.
I can't save my son's life. He's gone. You know, just want to save somebody's life.
And Councilman Welsh says he's not trying to make an illegal activity legal. He's just trying to find a resolution to the situation as it stands right now. Now, he says his next move is to get a task force to look at specifics like where the dirt bike park could be built. Katrina Bush, ABC 2 News. For some, the damage was broken windows and busted storefronts. For other business owners, the riots left them with nothing.
I just need some help. I didn't expect this to even happen. I didn't expect this. Nobody expected this.
John Thomas is talking about the fire that burned the Mary Harvin Senior Center to the ground. His business so close by, he says the flames torched the vehicles and warehouse he uses for his 8-year-old hauling and demolition company. He says when he got here that night, it was the worst thing he had ever seen.
I'm here because this is all I have, and no one ever talked with me about anything about this. I've been trying to reach out to people, but no one said anything back to me as far as, you know, me trying to, you know, get my truck, so it's nothing back.
Thomas says he's been exploring his options since the day after the fire, since having major surgery 4 months ago, told by his doctor to take a year off. Thomas says he canceled his insurance as his business was on standby in the meantime. He did hear the announcement Tuesday from the mayor and the president of the Baltimore Development Corporation about establishing a Baltimore Business Recovery Fund.
Once we raise the necessary funds, BDC will be able to make zero-interest loans for up to $35,000 that may be converted into grants if certain benchmarks are met.
Why should I borrow money to, you know, to get trucks and my stuff is already paid for? That's not right.
For now, Thomas says he's just trying to manage with the help of his family.
This is all I have here. You know, if I thought that this was going to happen, hell no, I wouldn't have dropped my insurance. But, I mean, really, come on, look at this.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, definitely. Also strange is another word that comes to mind when I think about what it was like being inside Oriole Park and knowing that that's what it was going to be like throughout the entire game. No fans watching that game, and Adam Jones himself saying before it started that it was just going to be a little bit weird, but that he understood the decision. Uncharted territory for Major League Baseball. The Orioles and White Sox play surrounded by thousands of empty seats.
It's just not, it's not easy, you know. It's just the whole process is not easy, man.
Adam Jones speaking before getting on the field for what he anticipated would feel like a showcase game, saying he's played before a small crowd before, but never anything like this.
I understand the safety issues with it. I mean, I drove around the city, I've seen the National Guard here. I only seen that in San Diego because we have the military there.
That was one point echoed by Orioles manager Buck Showalter, talking about the importance of perspective and how we reached this point. Safety concerns due to recent riots and protests have the MLB taking no chances. Showalter says there are no excuses for the Orioles, and it's about getting a win despite the circumstances. Even though they can't watch the Birds play, he knows what the team means to the city in a time like this.
Watching a lot of the stuff that, you all watched, every time I saw somebody in an Oriole hat or Oriole jersey or Oriole sweatshirt, I mean, this team means a lot to them.
And the fans are watching and will be watching the home team play this weekend. The games moved from Camden Yards to Tampa Bay. The O's are focused on one game at a time, but also on seeing their city heal.
I just hope at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we can grab some positive out of it.
Of course, we know that they did go out there and get that win and hope for a couple more this weekend. Now, as for the logistics for the games coming up this weekend, the Orioles will be the home team, even though they're playing in Florida, not scheduled to come back home to Baltimore to play the Blue Jays until May 11th. We're live at Oriole Park. Katrina Bush, ABC 2 News.